die. Go too fast. I'm taking 3.
I'm going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your 2?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I've got a replay that was sent in to me by Gamegoon, actually, and this this really is quite the game here that we're gonna see by Gamegoon. It's actually the first video as well that I'm putting up using the replay, unofficial replay system here in World of Warships. If you don't know how to record your own replays, take a look on the forums. There's lots of information there on how to do it. It's fairly simple. So yeah, let's jump into the battle. So because I'm in the replay system, I have the advantage of hitting the map button and not having to worry about my own ship. So I thought I'd take a look at the overall layout first. So we're on Twin Brothers, obviously. The initial spread of the team doesn't look too bad. You can see they do, at this point, kind of seem like they're going to be splitting up fairly evenly, some going towards the east and others towards the west. Unfortunately, that's not really the case. It's what it looks like now, but we're going to see later on in the video what actually takes place. Initially, though, I really like that there's those 2 destroyers heading out right in the front. You can see the destroyer on the east is starting to slowly get into that A point, and the destroyer on the west is going to go into the D point. So we'll come back and see what Gamegoon's doing. Now, I'm controlling the camera here, so it's in this view. You'll still see like the reticle for the guns, but it's not Gamegoon, aiming his guns this way. This is just me looking around, seeing what's going on. So things do seem to be progressing fairly well again at this point. It does sort of look like people are going to go more or less opposite directions here. The team is going to divide up fairly evenly. Some planes come in, so we're going to shoot down those planes, obviously. We're in a Cleveland. The Cleveland has great AA, so just start taking out planes. I noticed that Gamegoon has his sonar ability here on the Cleveland. Now that's an interesting choice, especially if you intend to use your Cleveland in closer ranges, because then you can obviously spot torpedoes that are incoming and destroyers that might be in smoke or lurking around. So that's an interesting move there to see on the Cleveland. Now we're coming closer to the D point, and look at that. The allied team, the Gamegoon's teammates, are going down the center. Oh, I didn't, it was at this point, I knew that it was going to be a great video, but I didn't understand how it was going to be a great video, because I see that there, and it's just, just disheartening to see. So we have the first enemy popping up here. It's a cruiser, so Gamegoon starts putting shots into him. And in a few videos ago, I think it was my defensive video, I talked about how tier 6 was sort of that magical tier for matchmaking, where it can go either way. You might get some high tiers in with you, or it might be low tiers. This is one of the low tier games, obviously. There are tier 3, 4, 5s, and 6s in the game, and Gamegoon's right on top of that, so he really is positioned well to do some incredible things in this match. Now, unfortunately, Gamegoon didn't get the kill there on the that cruiser, but that's not a big deal. The allies around him took him out, and the cap on the D point is progressing, or at least the team is now getting in position to be able to take that point. So there's Gamegoon's first kill. It was a destroyer. That was really nice kill. The destroyer obviously is too close, has to go. He is using high explosives, so that's great to see as well. I love high explosive in the Cleveland, but look at the allies going right down the middle there. It's interesting. It kind of looked like it worked from the map view there, because you don't see how the enemies are dispersed. I heard some torpedoes going off, so I thought I'd jump back, see what Gamegoon was doing, where those torpedoes were coming from, but no big deal. So looking back at the map, it does look like the majority of the enemy team is on the west side. But they do have, the enemy team does have the destroyer over there in the A point, and now Gamegoon's teammates are moving into that B point. So The middle push kind of seems to be working right now. Um, I was talking about middle pushes actually with Gamegoon and Linwolf, and we were sort of saying, they probably are a good strategy to employ, but maybe you want to wait first, let the enemy team get away from that middle point, and then push down the middle. If you go right away like the allies did here, by the time you get to the point, you'll find that there still are a lot of enemies. Now, looking at what Gamegoon's doing right here is really, really clever, actually. You see how slow he's going, still shooting into the smoke, hitting the enemies, but using the island as cover. I mentioned it before, probably mention it again. Just because your ship goes, just because you can put your ship at full throttle doesn't mean you always need to be at full throttle. There's, times like this where slowing down definitely is advantageous. And you'll notice Gamegoon never did come to a complete stop. He just sort of kept coasting along, which is important. Don't come to the complete stop if you don't have to. If you can do what Gamegoon did here, and we're actually going to see a really nice example later on how to use cover. If you can manage to do that, then you're putting yourself really in a good position. So at times in the replay, you're going to notice that things will jump around, things don't look quite right. I don't know why that is. I suspect it's because it's not an official replay system. But like here, this is actually Gamegoon's view, and when you see the little, I guess, scope come up, that's him looking around, or it might have actually been me screwing around trying to figure out how to go free camera mode. I do figure it out shortly. There we go. I got it. So we're going to take a look around here now. Again, my first time doing this, so I'm not too great using the controls. The mouse seems to be fairly sensitive when you're looking around like this, but we do see Gamegoon here. He's pushing back into the center of the decap. We've got some enemies around, and Gamegoon's going to have to deal with them if he wants to have any chance here of getting the cap. But luckily, see, he did. That ally did die, but there's another ally behind him supporting Gamegoon, so he still at least has one allied ship there in with him to help out. So taking shots here, I think that's a Kuma. We're gonna go ahead and do what we can to get him out of the game. Not too hard to do. Kuma is a great ship, but I mean it just can't stand up to a tier 6 like that. It's not going to happen. So there he goes. That is the second kill for Gamegoon. So doing pretty good here. You can see there are a lot of enemies over there. Gamegoon rightfully decides that he's going to turn, start using some cover, and not engage all of the ships at once. Ideally, when you're in a position like this, you want to try to engage one enemy ship at a time, if at all possible, making the best use of any cover that's around you. Now, I know Ocean's a completely different strategy, but we're not on Ocean today, so no need to worry about that. So continuing on here in free camera mode, just start taking a look at where the enemy is going to come from, because you notice that the enemy is no longer visible. Both the ally ships that are here, that's St. Louis, and Gamegoon himself, don't have any line of sight on the ships over there, and until they do, they won't pop up. So the St. Louis right there just got line of sight on that enemy. I think it's an OBA, and they're going to try to do something about these enemies anyway. I say they very loosely, because that St. Louis, there's not a whole lot that it can do against these ships, but at least he's there to take some shots for Gamegoon, and keep Gamegoon alive and going as long as possible. So we're putting shots into the Miyogi. There he is right there. He's already on fire and he's moving fairly slow. I don't know what he was doing, what he was thinking. Put himself really in a bad position. Gamegoon recognizes that and just puts in as many shots as he possibly can. Now, more enemy ships are popping up over there, and if you're looking at the mini-map, you'll note that the center push has failed. It didn't do very well at all. It had its initial successes, but they're gone. It's just a friendly destroyer left over there to hold down the fort. I mean, at the very least, that friendly destroyer did manage to swing back over into the A cap and get that. So now they're even in the caps themselves. Gamegoon is trying to take this D cap, but just can't do it because there are enemy ships sitting in the cap behind the rocks, and it's not going to happen. Now, excellent Confederate medal there, so great job on that. Again, with Tier 6 in this kind of matchmaking here, it is within the realm of possibility of getting a Confederate in almost every battle like this that you play, as long as you're playing fairly decently. Because again, the tiering and the ships involved, especially the Tier 3s and Tier 4s, don't have a whole lot of hit points, so you don't have to, or rather, it's not hard to get the 20% of the total HP on the enemy team, for the Confederate medal, that is. Alright, so there's the third kill. I think that was the Oba. It's gone. That might have, maybe the Oba, the Myogi. Well, anyway, enemy ship dead. It's gone. Now this New York, this is what I was talking about or alluded to earlier about the excellent example of using cover. The New York is just sitting there waiting for Gamegoon to come around, and he's going to basically shotgun Gamegoon and kill him. But Gamegoon sees this, and just comes to the full stop. This is definitely a situation where a full stop is called for, and is throwing it into reverse. So I'm going into free camera mode because I wanted to take a look at some of the angles involved. So from Gamegoon's side here, you can see that the New York doesn't have a shot, and then if we flip over and take a look at the New York and what he sees, this is what I'm talking about the mouse being very sensitive, but you can see from the New York's point of view, he doesn't really have a shot on Gamegoon, so he's trying to reverse, but he can really only get the shot off into Gamegoon's bow if he's going to hit anything at all. And Gamegoon here just keeps reversing, rightly so. I mean, that was an excellent play there, using that island as cover, and it really shows, how you can use cover in the game to your advantage, and when situation calls for it, and what the results are for doing that. So just to recap here, Gamegoon is at 3 kills. He's got himself a Confederate medal, a whole bunch of hits, fires, critical damages, even some assists and plane shot down. So it's a really good match right now. But this situation with the New York it calls for some aggressive play. I don't know if I would have done it. What I probably would have done actually is fairly similar to what Gamegoon did. Most likely I wouldn't have been able to stop my boat, beach myself, and then come around the other side. But not Gamegoon. He has something special in mind here for this Furutaka and the New York. So, rightly so, he's firing at the New York because that's the bigger threat. I was so concerned at this point when I was watching the replay about the Furutaka and his torpedoes. Why he didn't launch the torpedoes, I have no idea at all. But it really worked out for Gamegoon. So the New York is just taking a beating right now, and Gamegoon somehow managed to survive that salvo from the New York, and there we go. New York is gone, 4th kill. Now the Furutaka. Need to take this guy out. He's a pretty big threat because he's so close. I mean, you just took out the St. Louis, so now you don't have the ally with you, cannon fodder, if you will, to take the hits for you. Now you have to, get this guy gone. Even though it's a Furutaka, it hasn't been buffed yet, so it still has the fairly slow traverse and reload speed. So there's a fairly good chance here that Gamegoon's going to get this guy. So putting shots into him, really low health right now as well, so he can't afford to take a whole lot of hits, can't really afford to have any fire set or anything like that. Might just end it all. So we're still putting shots into the Furutaka here. He's almost dead. It's so close. Just another, there we go, one more salvo. Oh my god, that was close. That's right. You're not seeing things. Gamegoon has 3 hit points left. 3, and that's his 5th kill. Oh, what a game. What a game. So, I mean, the number of hits, I think it was like 232 hits, the 5 kills, but what blew me away about this whole thing was the 3 hit points. You've probably seen a few of the videos I put up where I'm surviving on like 156, and I thought that was pretty hairy. I can tell you I was clenched. But to have 3... Now the overall results are fantastic, obviously. you can see there the amount of experience. He's, top of the team, obviously, by far. Almost breached that 2,000 mark, and overall damage done. Lots of damage. I mean, even the secondary batteries are getting in here on the damage because Gamegoon was really close and in their face. So that's it for this replay. Thanks so much for watching it through. Today's video is going to be a little shorter. Last night I was invited out and had a number of drinks and stayed up fairly late, and I'm fairly hungover, so not really feeling the whole putting up a video thing today. And I was so glad that that Gamegoon sent in the replay so that I could use it. Now, I did mention how easy it is to get the replays done if you don't already have it done, so I'll put a link in my comments to the forum page where I found to do it. Again, really simple. Before you actually do it, though, I would recommend maybe making a backup of your original World of Warship folder, just in case you ever want to not have the battles recorded, or make a mistake, right? You don't want to have to then spend the time and install the whole game. So I'll have that in the comments there, so you can take a look at that if you're interested. And if you do decide to do it and you get some replays, send them in. I've got my email in the comments as well. I love taking a look at it. Maybe getting some more practice here with the free camera mode. So once again, thank you for watching today. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.